Hello and welcome to a webinar of Openlm. I am Sagi. I will be going over the Unmanaged Processes extension, and I'll also show you how you can control license checkouts. So we'll take a look at the Applications Manager, which allows you to control the application's checkout, and it also allows you to monitor applications which are not managed by a license manager. Now, both these extensions, both the Applications Manager and Unmanaged Processes, allow you to monitor applications which are not monitored by a license manager, meaning that they're named licenses, they're node-locked licenses, they're just standalone applications, whatever you choose. But these two are similar, but give different benefits. Each one has its own pros and cons. We'll go over them in a minute. So there are two ways to do this, with the Applications Manager or without the Applications Manager. The Openlm agent in this case has to be on the workstation no matter what. If it goes through the Applications Manager to get to the Openlm core, or it goes to the Openlm core directly, that depends on which extension you need. So the Applications Manager will, of course, utilize an Applications Manager sitting in a central server. And all the agents in all the workstations will transmit to the Applications Manager. If you use the Unmanaged Processes, then all the agents connect directly to the Openlm core system, to the Openlm server. And then if you want to control it, change it, edit it, or maybe just view reports, you use any device using your browser. Now, I will not be going over the core product of Openlm. I will only be going over these extensions to show you how you can actually influence the sessions. So first of all, what you see, you see a big pro and con for both of them right now. If all the agents go through the Applications Manager, that means that the network load is much lower on the Openlm core because it only has to deal with one Applications Manager, not 1,000 agents. Meaning that if you grow to more than, let's say, 3,000 agents, then we suggest to use the Applications Manager. Below that, you can use the Unmanaged Processes. Now, this is one benefit, but let's talk about the tool itself. Let's show it. First of all, I'm going to start with Unmanaged Processes. Unmanaged Processes helps you to, first of all, get full monitoring on those applications, on those standalone applications and node-locked and named applications. But also, besides getting full monitoring, you can also kill the process, suspend the process, run a custom script on the end user workstation. So you have options to do something about it when you see a session idling for too long, meaning that they're not actually using the application. The process is not being used. So if the process is not being used, the Openlm agent recognizes it and it reports that this user is now idle with that application. But let's take a look at it. Let's open up the Unmanaged Processes. I have one vendor here, Microsoft. I have Excel, Word, and I added, just for testing, Notepad. So it could be any application that you wish, as long as it has a process running. I mean, the process of the task manager. As long as it has that running, then no problem. The agent can monitor it, the agent can influence it. So let's open up the Notepad. Let's see what we have there. Well, we see that we're able to set something called a procedure with custom script, and we got these ones. What do these mean? Well, first of all, that we can track idle time, if that session is now idle or not, and that we can release sessions. We can kill the process, or in this case, custom script, run a custom script once a threshold is there. So you can tell Openlm system, okay, if my licenses are like at 95%, meaning they're stressed, they're about to be fully checked out and users are about to start getting denied. So if it goes over 95%, then start releasing licenses, start closing applications. But whose applications? Whoever has more than, let's say, 1 hour of idle time. So that will change the behavior of your users. Your users will know that they are being watched, and they will not idle as much. It's something proven, we've seen that. So the procedures themselves that I can run here, let me show you. So I can run a custom script, as you've seen. Now let's see what it runs. It just simply runs a message for that username saying, please close app if you're not using it. Now you can put anything you'd like. That's a custom command script. That's a CMD script. You can just input whatever. Let's say you have a custom application and you built like a custom extension to it where with a custom command you can close and save the application. So that's one option. But there are many. It's custom. Now, of course, that we can also just kill the process, suspend the process, or just release the license in the license manager in case there's a license manager. Now again, this is for all applications with a process, just about anything. Now, let's say that you want more. Okay, you are tracking applications which are not managed by a license manager. Let's open Notepad just to show an example. Okay, but you want more. You want to be able to prevent the session from ever happening. You want to allocate your users with licenses according to criteria that you define. So let me back up. Now I want to talk about the applications manager. Now it allows you, first of all, as we've seen with the unmanaged processes, it allows you to monitor named, node locked, also floating licenses, and also standalone applications and everything also using a process. Now, what's special about the app manager? It's that it allows you to get more than the unmanaged. It doesn't only give you monitoring, it gives you a whole lot more. So first of all, it can help you separate between licenses which are floating and licenses which are named. Why would you want to do that? Why would you want to even monitor named licenses? You're probably thinking, okay, I got one license, one user, why do I care about his usage? Well, let's say that you got one user, one license, yeah, but he's using 1 hour a week. Then you can take that guy from the named license and put him in the floating license pool, and he can get a floating license whenever he wants. And you can get someone from the floating license pool that uses like 10 hours a day, 9 hours a day, 6 days a week, and you give him a named license. That would be cheaper for you. So this way you can mix and match the different application licenses that you want. You can have a hybrid licensing system with named and floating, and with the app manager you can tell exactly which one are utilized, who utilized them, and so on. But what else can it do? Well, it can prevent users from opening the same application twice on the same workstation, meaning that they won't be able to get 2 licenses at the same time. What else does it do? Well, it allows you to set a limit to your licenses. Now let's say that you bought a certain package or a certain feature and the vendor tells you, okay, you can buy the 20 licenses that you need, no problem. But let's say that the 21st user comes and tries to check out a license. Usually he gets denied, right? So the vendor says he will not get denied. We will not deny him from getting that license. He will get that 21st license. But you will pay through the nose. You will pay extra for that one license, two license extra. You will pay double, triple, and so on. So what does it actually do? It prevents me from going over the cap. So the admin can set the cap of 20, and the end users will not be able to go over that number. Only 20 users will be able to use that application at the same time. But let's see it in action. Now, because I'm just one user, I'll set it to 0 because I cannot pull more. I'll set it to 0 to show you that it blocks my attempt of getting a license. So we're looking at AutoCAD right here, 2017, and I limited it to a zero usage, zero licenses, meaning that I'm not supposed to be able to pull a license. So I try to open AutoCAD, and I got this message: license limit reached. That means that the 0 licenses that I set was reached, and it's not letting me surpass that. But what jumped here? What do we see here? Here we also see a custom command that we had before. The notepad, if you remember, was idling with the unmanaged processes. Now it was idling for like 3 minutes, and then it popped up a message saying that please close the app if you're not using it. Exactly the script that we had there. But now we're talking about the app manager. We've seen how it can help us cap the amount of licenses that we have, so we won't go over that license amount. But what else can it do? Well, it can also track the idle time. It will also notify you of the idle time of that application, but you will not be able to close the session due to that idle time. What you will be able to do is set different consumption rules and decide who gets what, when, and where. Meaning that you can allow or deny users from getting licenses. Now, how is this practical? Let's think about it. Let's say that you got version 2019 of Autodesk, of AutoCAD. Now you got a sweet deal on that. You got 2019, you got a very cheap price, and you want people to stop using 2017 and 2016 because they have different policies. So you can set up the applications manager to look for other versions and block them. So if it's 2017, 16, 18, you just block it. You only allow the 2019, and users will only be able to use 2019. You can use the time of day to allow or deny users. You can combine it with a group. For example, you can say USA group can only get licenses during USA working hours, for example. You can assign licenses or features to different users. For example, you can have users that only need to use AutoCAD will only be able to use AutoCAD. They won't be able to pull an ArcGIS license or NX license. They need to use that. They are assigned to this, so they won't be able to use anything else. So it depends on what you want to do. It's very flexible, very malleable. You see how you can string different rules together and allow and deny different conditions. So let's say that we want to now deny the usage. So if the application is Autodesk, an Autodesk application, and the time is after 8, then deny the usage. Okay, so now let's go to my workstation right here. This is a workstation. And again, try to pull an AutoCAD license. Now, what do I get now? Now it doesn't say that the limit was reached. It says that it was denied due to the normal USA working hours rule. Now, normal USA working hours rule is write this rule that denied us from pulling a license. Now, if we allow it, then we will be able to get that license. Now you're probably thinking, well, that's great, but I have to roll out the agent for both components if I want to use the unmanaged processes, or if I want to use the app manager, it needs to use an agent on the workstation. Now, if you don't have a problem with that, because it can be rolled out real easy, like with SCCM, it can be rolled out to all the machines, it can be rolled out using GPO, using silent installation, whatever you choose. So let's say that you can't use it. You can't use an agent. You can't install it. You're not allowed, or you don't want to. Then we have also something called the Openlm Router. Now, I'm going to close the session right here. Now let's take a look at the Openlm Router, and let's think about what it does, and let me explain. So I'll open up Paint because I think it's the best way for me to show it. You probably have many workstations spread across the world, and they are getting licenses from a license manager. So you got many different license managers in your system. Okay, and they know where they need to go, they set it up in their registry, and then they go only to that server. But the Openlm Router sits in the middle, all the workstations connect to it, and it routes according to criteria that you define. You define what to route where. So it decides to route here, to route here, to route there, or maybe just block it completely. So what can it do? If we open up the router management right here, then we'll be able to see that, first of all, configuration is real easy. You install the router component, and that's it. You'll just need to set these up. So all the machines are currently, all the workstations are currently pointing to demo v4. Now this is my Openlm server machine, which has the Openlm router as well. So they're all routing via the demo v4 machine. Now the routing instructions I have here, I'm telling it to go to this host, but I'm doing it within IP ranges. So I can set that this IP range can go to this host, this IP range can go to that host. Now you can also set a period. So a certain start time and a certain end time will allow or block, allow or deny the usage. Now you can do so for the group and user or the application name itself. Mainly the usage of it, people use it for the IP range. So they set IP ranges by their offices. Each office in each country has different IP ranges. So they can set it up, they can set up many rules right here, routing rules, and they can decide who gets what and when without using the agent. The only thing that they'll need to do is simply set up the registry to not point to the license manager, but to point to the router. The router will decide where they go next. So let's try and see it in action. So I believe that it's configured on my system. It has, well, all the IP ranges are now denied from actually getting a license. Now I didn't set any period limits, but I did change it in my registry. So now let's try to open an AutoCAD license. Now when it checks for a license, it should not find it. There you go. So it didn't find the license. Now this is the same workstation I've opened before and opened AutoCAD on, and now it doesn't find the license. because we denied usage. We can allow it, and of course we can set all the different rules to it. And that's about it. This is how you can control license checkouts, either with an agent or without an agent. You can also monitor applications which are not license managed, not managed by a license manager. Sorry. It allows you to set a cap, to set a rule system. You can prevent applications from being opened. You can close them after they've been opened. And basically, it's very flexible. It can fit to your need, either if you need something small just to monitor, or you want the rules table, or maybe you want the full router, which decides who goes where, what, and why. Now, I would like to hear from you. I've been talking for about half an hour. I would like to hear from you. If you have any questions, if you have anything that you would like to know, anything that I didn't go over that you would like to know, or maybe went over a bit fast. So just ask. You can use the questions box. There's a questions box in the GoToWebinar tool. Just write it down. I see I already have a question. So Ryan is asking, for troubleshooting issues, how can we tell if this is installed on a local machine? I don't think I fully understand. You mean if you know, how can you tell if the agent is installed on the workstation? You can get a report. Oh, great. So you can get a report on that. You can get a report of workstations, and you'll see exactly which ones are under agent control. For example, here you can see that these two, Josh and me, are under agent control. We're online. You can see our IP. You can see last heartbeat, the idle time, everything. This way you can tell who's been naughty and found a way to maybe uninstall the agent or whatever. But this way you can tell if the agent is on that machine. Okay, I have Jeff asking, is this being provided for free by Autodesk to all clients? No, this is not provided by Autodesk to all clients. This is an Openlm component, the App Manager, the Openlm Agent, Unmanaged Processes. All of them are extensions of Openlm. It doesn't have anything to do with Autodesk. For demonstration purposes, I chose Autodesk, but I could have chosen ArcGIS, Notepad, whatever, everything. So what would I look for on the local machine to know if the agent is installed? Oh, on the local machine itself, you can see the process of it and the service of it. Both of them are protected. I don't have it here, but you'll see both process and service that cannot be shut down by the user unless they have specific permissions to do so. In any case, if they find a way to kill the process, the service will start up the process. If they find a way to kill the service, the process will start up the service. So we thought about it. Eric is asking about the App Manager. Now, this is an extension to the core Openlm system. The core Openlm system only gives you monitoring of floating licenses. You want to monitor named licenses and have all those functionalities, you'll need the App Manager, which is built on top of the core Openlm system. Just to show it again, if you want to use the App Manager, then you'll have the agent on all the workstations. All the workstations and all the agents will transmit to the applications manager, which has a broker with him. And they, in turn, send out data to the Openlm core system. So I hope that answers your question. Now, if you would like to try out any of these extensions, the App Manager, the Router, Unmanaged Processes, doesn't matter. You can send an email to sales@openlm.com, and they can give you an evaluation trial period of 30 days just to test it out, to see if it works, to see if it fits, to see if everything's okay. And if you want it, you can buy it. If not, then not. But I suggest to try it out. If you see something that you're interested in, don't think about, oh, it will cost me this, it will cost me that. First, try to check if it fits your need. Then, try to see if you really need it. But first of all, you can get evaluation. The installation is very simple. For testing purposes, you don't have to roll all the agent. Of course, you can roll out one or two and just test it on that. Now, this takes about, I don't know, 10 minutes. You install the App Manager, next. That's it. It's installed. You configure a few things, just the connection string to Openlm server, and you're done. You can start monitoring them. So I suggest to evaluate it, to get it on your system, see if it works for you. Okay, guys, so if none of you have any questions left, so thank you very, very much for your time, for joining me on this session. I hope that you learned a bit about Openlm's extensions. If you need support, let us know. If you need trial version, let sales know. And have a great day. Thanks, guys. Bye.